Hello, everybody, and welcome to QSL's Puddle Division. MechanisCaduceus here with Red Sniper, getting ready to bring you the crew against Kappa Corporation. These two teams have been going at it quite a bit all season, not necessarily talking about the chat, obviously, but talking about what they've been able to accomplish so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, the crew 2-2, Cap Corporation 3-1, trying to keep pace to try and get that number one seed here in the Puddles division. Taking a look at what they did last week, um, you know, Kappa Corp had a tough one against the Pittsburgh Gold Diggers. That's where their first loss came from. It was a three-game set. It was very, very close. You did see the Freya kind of run things late in that game. Um, and then, the crew had a tough one going up against Eternal Vanguard last week, picking up their second loss. That was a tough one. That was a 2-0 loss. So we'll see what they're able to do. Both these teams looking to bounce back with their picks and bans in this set this week.
For sure. And one of the things that I definitely look to see is maybe some emphasis on either picking this Freya up, getting rid of it. Very, very strong pick right now. Fatalis plus Freya 2 just means you really can't get away from this pick. And not to mention, of course, the fact that Erlong Shen gets his knockup back off of this patch that came through last week. Very, very strong number of picks right now that are just incredibly valuable to draft for a team. Makes it really difficult to play around.
Yeah, it's tough because it depends on what your as we get into picks and bans here, it's going to be real tough to see what these teams want to do because the Freya as a scaling comp, team fighting comp, can be absolutely insane. But at the same time, Medusa is still a very good pickup right now. The way the ADC builds, it really depends on how your team likes to fight things. If they like front to back, if they like scaling, the Freya is fine. If they like those little pick comps, if they like the 1v1s or 2v1s, then maybe a Medusa or maybe something a little bit more, early game snowball-y kind of like is kind of good. But we are going to see the Mulan and King Arthur and Cthulhu taken off the table early in this one.
Immediately after, followed by this Kamazot's being banned by the Kappa Corporation. And I really can't help but agree with the way you brought up this Freya and the way that you kind of have to handle picking this Freya as a pick in these drafts because one of the things that she suffers from is inability to really play the early game. You get on top for early and don't let her get to late game. That's the tried and true method of beating any Freya. Shana, Lancelot gonna be the
You'll
last two
never
bans
defeat
in this
me.
draft as we get Erlong Shen top picked. I'm assuming for the jungle.
Yeah, probably jungler. We have seen him go to his AA build very specifically. You do see Shifter Shield come out on him. Shifter Shield very strong right now in the meta. Also has the capabilities of coming out in both the solo and the support roles as well.
Look into
Again,
my
as you go low, it gives
eyes.
you the extra prots. As you are high on your health, it gives you a little bit more
Winning or
damage.
losing doesn't
But
matter.
we are going to see the
We all shall
Medusa
return to
and
nature in the
Ardio
end.
going to be hovered here over for Kappa Corporation. I'm not really surprised about the Medusa. Very strong right now. Although I have seen a small counter come out in the name of Charybdis. So we'll see if the crew wants to pick that one up. But Kappa Corporation here with the Ardio. Ardio is an interesting one because you can build her so tanky that by the end of the game, she can be practically unkillable, almost like the old King Arthur. But she has the cripple. She has the ability to life steal. She has all of these tools as both in her human form and bear form. She could be a handful to for the crew
Get
to
to the
actually deal with.
chaka!
I really love the Ardio pick, and even though you only know Erlong there, right? So Ardio's second ability in the Druid stance, that crippling field, is
To the sky!
immediately an a phenomenal counter Erlang Shen as Shock and the Freya that we've been talking about have been selected by the crew. I love the RDO pick into the Erlang. It works well into the Shock as well. RDO is going to be a very, very strong pick in this game, only knowing these three picks from the crew. Love the RDO pick out of Kappa Corporation. And it looks like we're going to get a Freya on Medusa matchup, something we were just describing here. So the onus, I have to believe, is on this Medusa in the dual lane to get ahead early and fast.
Yeah, interesting with this Wukong pick. We'll see what happens. If it's Wukong jungle, which I kind of suspect it's not, it's probably Wukong solo. Wukong jungle clears a little bit slow, can be that warrior in fights that you need. I would probably though, it's hard because RDO support into a Freya, while it can have the CC early on, Medusa has to be aggressive, and you would rather pair her with an engaged support or something that you can get on top of the Freya early, like you were saying earlier. Prevent the Freya from having that freedom of movement early on, so that you can punish her. Don't allow her to get ahead of you, and then try and end the game before she hits level 20. Medusa needs to do that. Period. Now, it could be strange enough that we could be seeing a Medusa mid lane. I did see that in Deep Sea earlier today. Um, but I suspect this is probably going to be ADC, especially with the Ixchel ban and the Agni ban coming out of the crew. Um, and Yu Huang, an interesting ban at this point in this meta.
So I gotta point out, it seems the crew agrees with you that the Medusa is probably going to be the ADC of Kappa Corporation, as Yu Huang, you pointed out, is an interesting ban. Yu Huang, I believe, actually plays pretty well into Wukong Artio Medusa. I feel like that's kind of Kappa Corporation saying, hey, we don't want you getting this mage that's pretty safe into our entire team comp so far, and maybe something that they want to do gets stopped by the Yu Wong. But on top of that, Yu Wong, one of the things he brings right now is incredible range and great safety. As Nuwa is dropped like a bomb into this game, and that fourth ability of hers is nothing to scoff at in this meta, where she loves building the item procs, loves the Soul Reaver, loves Soul Gem. Does it have a proc effect? She's in love with it right now.
Yeah, Nuwa's ultimate ability can be absolutely devastating. I've seen it a couple of times already where,
It
I
won't
mean, you've
matter.
got squishies that may have a third of their health or even almost half their health, and it's just gone. They're sent to the gray screen because the new presses 4, and bye bye. Everybody just is deleted off. But we are going to see Thoth, a good artillery mage, coming out on the crew. Um, Also likes to scale, and the Geb. So we do see again artillery. The Thoth has the excellent ability with the ult to blow people up as well. Geb, though, providing that extra little bit of peel cleanse, that shield that allows Freya to kind of sustain herself even in the early game. I like what the crew bring: big circles, team fight, scaling, but just enough that they could probably keep things close up until the end. Kappa Corporation right now, let's see what they want to do here with this jungle pick, I assume. Um, RDO Medusa, formidable duo lane. Wukong, if they're comfortable on it, it could be okay. I probably seen something like a Cullen maybe, or even Cabrakan, something to stun the chalk, something to kind of get in the chalk's face to just kind of be annoying. But we'll see what happens. They need something. I don't know. It depends on how they play. New. I'm trying to think. Best at. Okay, single target damage. I can understand that. I was thinking maybe like Najah. I know Thor, you can still go into more like a hybrid build with him. There's an ability there. Tsukiyomi might not wouldn't have been a bad pick. Or
So,
Susano also maybe. But yeah, Bastet might be a comfort pick for Kappa Corp.
if I may, one of the things that's worth bringing up here is you brought up Neja, and Bastet does Neja's job, but a little bit better if you're just looking at the two ultimates. Now, obviously, Neja brings a lot more than his ultimate to any party, but Bastet, and as does Bastet with the incredibly high potential damage output of this goddess of cats. But one of the things that's worth bringing up is they didn't necessarily have great lockdown CC, and now they have great single target lockdown and phenomenal damage output. I mean, Medusa and Nuwa can handle the idea of, hey, burst this target down. And Nuwa's ult is really good for making people really skeptical about going into a fight where they know they're going to only have half their health bar that they're working with. So that in and of itself, I think it's really dependent on how Kappa Corporation play this. But the crew, I love that draft strategy and the synergistic idea that they have going here. They want to get ahead early in the solo lane between Erlang and Shock, allow Freya and Thoth to scale up, and Geb is just going to keep them safe and give them maybe a little bit of damage assistance with that really high base damage that Geb brings for the Guardian class. Really strong synergistic draft out of the crew. I'm interested to see how Kappa Corporation play into this because they have a lot of good individual picks, but how well can they bring it together?
Yeah, I mean, you do have that minor CC. The Geb's got the knock up. Chalk has a silence. Erlong has a knock up and a root. Freya's got her whoop. So the crew has a lot of even personal CC where they can self peel a little bit. I think I like that a little bit more. Whereas with Bastet, Bastet is that god that wants to get in, blow the entire kit, and then jump back out, or come in at the very end of the day. The team fight's been started. It comes in at the end, mops up a couple of kills, and then either tries to follow up and get those finish, maybe one or two final kills, or just backs out, just to try and stay alive. I don't know. I'm not convinced on this Bastet pick personally, but we'll see how it's operated here in game number one. I do really like though on the duo lane the Artio Medusa. They can get aggressive if they want to be aggressive, and I think that's going to be very important as we get into game number one here.
As we get into game number one, MC and Bambi on this RDO, a pick that I do feel like has the potential to really strike at this Freya, this Geb early on. Freya and Geb, as the game gets later, they're going to have the advantage. It's not a matter of, oh, Medusa doesn't scale well. It's simply a matter of Freya scales better than whatever you're bringing to the party. It's that simple. As MC and Bambi already showing the potential damage output of this RDO put some really good damage into Deadlie. And this Medusa, this RDO really making sure to try and push this advantage early and push it hard, I have to imagine. And still looking for first blood here. Multiple lanes already possibly giving that away though. And one of the things I really can't wait to see is exactly not just who gets first blood, but how first blood happens. It's going to be a gank. How do you think it's going to?
I mean that's going to be a good question on where this first blood's going to come from. I initially thought the Erlang gank might happen there, but I don't know if Xylophone stays in this lane longer than he's supposed to, he might be the first one to going down. But I'm looking in the mid lane, especially with how low Lol is getting, and this and Binary there with his oh boy, as the cat comes out, that was a close one. He's got to get some health back.
The cat just trying to run you down as Xylophone under 100 HP right now, just ticking over it for the moment. MC and Bambi going to go ahead, pick up the shield buff for their team. And again, it's just a lot of posturing, a lot of kind of lane pressure, and that might be a kill. That should be a kill. That's a cat that missed, and the jump is going to be enough. Waddle XP with a great gank from the jungle, going to find first blood as Glock 17 Binary has to walk away, lest he fall too. Great gank out of this Bastet, and Xylophone now the next one in a little bit of trouble. Good knock up, good dash, and good disengage out out of the Sun are going to keep him safe for a little while longer.
Yeah, and to be honest, the gank in the mid lane was clean. No wards coming out this early in the game. You generally would like to see some sort of semblance of knowledge as to where the jungler is going to be, especially if you're that mid laner and you are that low. You want to play it a little bit safer. I thought maybe Bomber was going to be able to get out. He was able to dodge the cat as it came across and get under tower, but knowing his health, Waddle gets in, absolutely obliterates, and gone. Bye-bye.
Multiple buff invades going through across the map. Xylophone going to fall trying to defend his buff. And Deadline nearly falls trying to defend their purple buff on the other side. Both teams getting aggressive where they have the advantage here early in the game. However, only one team's jungler is getting aggressive on that side of the map, and that, so far, is going to be Glock 17 Binary getting aggressive over here toward the soul lane. Lol Boomer looking for the Bull Demon King with his team. Should be able to find it here. So that is going to be a Bull Demon going down. Deadlie and company looking for this gold buff. MC and Bambi don't want to let him have the loop is going to be enough to secure it. The fight after, I don't necessarily think there's going to be a kill here, but Fuego might be the one in trouble. MC and Bambi trying to stay in front. Great damage coming out of the Freya, but it's not going to be enough. Bonehead's going to pick up the Freya and going to pick up Fuego on top of that. Double kill in the dual lane, and great ult from Waddle XP to bring Freya back to the fight.
Yeah, that was great team coordination. Evo there dropping the new ult, making sure that the team has the ability to bring someone within kill range. The tick happening off of the Vipers from Bonehead sends Deadlie back to the fountain. Well set up, well executed. That was great coordination by KAPPA Corp. That was something you don't necessarily see all the time here in the Puddles division, but as we see beads come out from Evo, he is going to get taunted by Glock, and we're going to see, will Evo survive this? Probably not.
Evo manages to survive. Great stun and a missed final judgment. Going to make sure that Evo lives.
Oh!
Bomer, my bad, not Boomer. Bomer going to be the one to fall instead. Waddle XP picking up another kill. Glock 17 Binary has to run as fast as he can. Waddle XP trying to chase him down with the extra speed granted by the buff from the first ability. Not able to find that, though. Leap speed not there. As Lyman Nelson really pushing the advantage into Father Xylophone right now. Wow.
Yeah, we are definitely seeing both mid lane and soul lane kind of in their respective routes, so to speak, but these junglers are going to be able to influence the map quite easily, especially around this Bull Demon King. Again, the first one dropped was well done, however, it was quite early, especially if you're trying to kill out wards. Now would be a good spot to do it in, but dual lane again, as we see Deadlie going to get stunned, and he's going to have to go up into the ult just to try and survive, and a little early by Bonehead, and he will pay the price instead, but Deadlie will drop. Evo going to pick him up with the new ult. Let's see if Bambi's going to be able to get out of this one, as he went a little deep.
Pin was there, but Pin not going to be enough, and considering that his ult available for this Erlund Shen, if he decides the target is valuable enough, but Ardio, the kill on an Ardio, not going to be considered valuable enough. Try for the ult here. Geb, however, Fuego once in, and while Bonehead may have made a bit of a boneheaded decision on that player, boneheaded timing, however you want to put it, that's going to be a pin, and that's going to be a pull in as Fuego going to get stunned out by Glock 17. Has to make a decision now and is going to go ahead and back up a little bit here. Deadlie coming back into the fight, 3-on-3 possible here in the dual lane at the moment. Oh, and beautiful ult by Bastet. Pulls Fuego all the way in. That's going to be a kill. Bonehead going to pick up another kill here in this dual lane. And what an ult by Waddle to pull Geb in at max range. Evileye is going to find Lebomer. and things just going from bad to worse for the crew right now.
Yeah, rough there for the crew. Again, I mean, we're seeing good rotations coming out of Glock. We're seeing good map presence here and there, but the finishing isn't quite there. Bambi gets low, Evo gets low, even Xylophone has gotten low a few times, but it hasn't been enough to actually kill them off. They've played their distances and their spacing quite well. The other side of it, however, both Fuego and Deadeye have gotten caught out twice. The bomber in the middle has gotten caught out 3 times. And again, a Thoth is a very immobile mage, even for what they are. Deadeye as well, but we do see the Geb shield coming out to save his life. But again, the new ult, it's almost on cooldown at this point. Just, okay, we're gonna toss the ult out and see what happens. As we do have a fight happening on the opposite side.
Waddle XP going on to Deadeye. Deadeye going to whoop the Ardio away. Good damage coming out of this fray at the moment. They're all going to the Ardio, who's soaking it up quite nicely. Fuego's going to be low. Fuego's going to be chased. Fuego's going to be dead. Glock 17 trying to get the kill. Will find the kill onto the Bastet, but Evilize around to clean it up. And KAPPA Corporation, they're going to find 2 for the price of 1.
I mean, we know exactly why Glock could not die to Waddle there, and Evo had to clean it up. I mean, it's the simple fact that dogs are better than cats. So, I mean, it's just the way of the world, that one.
I don't know if the Howling Hound in particular is better than a cat. That thing is annoying. It's about as annoying as a rat dog.
I mean, it is. I mean, I don't know, the electric one out of the Pokemon trainer looking Erlong Chen though. That one's Pikachu with 4 legs, so I'm okay with that.
I was gonna say, pre-Bolton, but oh my goodness, Lowell Bomer just getting completely jumped on and stamped down here in this mid lane. Fuego Maego pulled it back in again. The Cataclysm going to be expended, but nowhere near enough. Waddle XP going absolutely crazy in this game. 3-level lead in the dual lane for this Medusa. And what did we talk about with this Freya Medusa matchup? As, oh my goodness, Bonehead may have pulled up more than he could do. And yet again, going to miss the ult timing as Evili is going to ult and pick up the kill on Deadeye. But what were we talking about? The idea was that Medusa needs to get ahead early. Well, Medusa has met that requirement. Medusa's made that happen. A 12-9 level lead. And I have to think about a 1k gold lead in this dual lane as well. KAPPA Corporation cleanly pulling ahead of the crew. What do you think has to be kind of that stopgap? Like, no more, can't have any more of a gap here. What is comebackable and what is not?
At this point, if you were the crew, as much as I am a fan of Deadeye, an acquaintance, a friend of Deadeye, at this point, let the sleeping dog lie. Because as Waddle's ultimate just miss. To be honest, let him farm at this point. He's 0-3-1, he's 3 levels down. Let him farm. You have to at this point. Let him play back, grab what he can.
Fuego getting absolutely melted. Evili is going to find a kill there. Low Bomer is looking for what he can maybe do to salvage this tower, but I don't think he can. Lil Bomer getting absolutely torn apart, and that's going to be a double kill for this Nuwa ahead in the mid lane. MC and Bambi trying to run from Block 17 Binary as the Nuwa has to go into the air to get away from the shock, at least for a moment. Stunned good, but Evili is not going to be able to get out of this one. Aegis expended, but Lineman Nelson is going to be able to get the shutdown. Block 17 pulls in Waddle, has to beads and jump away. The Bastet trying to fight back in. Unable to quite do so. MC and Bambi here to try and help out. Glock 17 Binary slowed. Gonna have to dash away. as Lyman Nelson walking away slowly, has the slow to his name. Xylophone trying to fight in as well alongside his clone here, but no. Instead, the clone going to fight in, take half its health, going to go ahead and be extinguished. As now, Kappa Corporation, they want this beacon. Are they going to be able to get it? Lineman Nelson going ahead, walking back to the solo lane. As indeed, Kappa Corporation, they're going to be able to take the beacon, and things are going to be able to settle down here, at least for a moment.
I mean, settle down, kind of, but like, if you're Kappa Corporation, you want to step on the gas even further. Again, shutdown does happen onto Evo. That's a great thing for the crew. They get that bonus gold. They get the ability to kind of stabilize the game a little bit, and also you don't have to worry about the Nuwa ult when she's in gray screen. So
Lineman,
great
final judgment as well. Sorry for the interruption here, but the fight continuing. Lineman Nelson going to have to back away, not able to dissuade Kappa Corporation from going on to the Bull Demon King. Beautiful, beautiful final judgment, though.
Yeah, you were asking the question earlier about what needs to happen at this point. To be honest, if you are the mid laner, if you are the ADC of the crew, at this point, I'm telling my jungler, stay away. I'm telling my support player, stay away. Let me farm. I need absolutely everything I can possibly get at this point. Now, maybe for the mid laner, you want the support around there just to kind of help split things, help, CC and do what you can. But at this point, unless there's a clear kill opportunity or some potential for, like that one, securing buffs there, you really don't want to split things if you can help it. You'd rather just kind of absorb the XP and the gold yourself to try and get a little bit more even, as you do see an engagement on that duo side. But again, Bomber getting very low.
Deadlie getting ulted yet again. Glock 17 going to find a kill on Bonehead. And that is going to be a good kill for the crew. It may not be a shutdown, but it does keep this Medusa from farming their jungle. Keeps this Medusa from getting any further ahead than they already are. Gives Deadlie a chance to get back into this game. Not enough good can be said about that kill for the crew.
Yeah, I know Bonehead is trying to prevent the Freya from, from closing that distance, from closing that gap, as we do see Glock having to get out of dodge there in the middle lane. But if I was Bonehead, even at this point, I'm looking for any neutral farm, any kind of farm that I can get to prevent Deadlie from even getting back in here. Yeah, okay. Going for his buffs once, if you're in the clear, if you know what's going on, that's fine. But preventing that that farm there is a little bit more important, because it prevents him. He's going to be 2-3 levels behind now for the rest of the game. Fair enough. Step on the gas, look for trying to get to a Gold Fury, trying to get your team ahead in that manner, rather than trying to steal buffs away, which, as we saw, could be deadly.
Bambi corralled by 2. Instead of looking at either of them, dashes straight for low Bomer. Yet again, Cataclysm going to come out from this Geb, and the Rain of Fire going to come down from Evelize. Deadlie going to find that kill. Final Judgment clearing through, as now Kappa Corporation, they're the one on the run. This is a 5v4 affair here in the left side jungle. MC and Bambi going to lock someone down on their way out of the fight. Lineman Nelson trying to stay in, trying to stay that front line for his team. But Bonehead, a lot of damage that Bonehead can provide here. Staring straight at this Gold Fury. The crew started it up. I don't think that's the right call. And Bonehead able to find a little Bomer, as now things might turn on their head in this fight even. Kappa Corporation may have caught the crew overstaying their welcome, as now Lineman Nelson, in a bit of a pickle himself, has all the health, all the procs in the world, but not enough to do with them quite yet. PUDDLES gonna find a great ult on this Freya and find the kill as well. Deadlie going to go into the grayscale. Glock 17 binary rooted. Lineman Nelson dead. And Kappa Corporation, at first, didn't seem like they could win that fight, but end up getting a 3-for-1 deal on members of the crew.
Yeah, excellent execution there by Waddle on the Bastet. Again, I was skeptical of the Bastet. I didn't know how effective it was going to be in this one, but he has been able to hit those ultimates quite regularly, which has pulled people into 3 and 4 members of Kappa Corporation, and it's allowed him to utilize it to great effectiveness. Now, we'll see if that continues through the game, but as long as he's doing that, it turns these fights from 3 and 4v4s to 4v3s to 3v3s. He's being effective with that Bastet ultimate excellently at this point. And again, we're seeing even in that XP per minute bar there, we're starting to see the things tick ahead. As now we see a fight here over the Stygian Beacon.
Beacon is up. Beacon is available. The Nuwa gonna pump some damage through to every member of that opposing team with their ultimate at the moment. Beacon being fought over. Crew have control over it for the moment. Kappa Corporation backing out. Don't have the numbers just yet. Sun Wukong on the way. Bastet taking camp and taking the speed buff. Not gonna be here quickly enough. The crew going to be able... Maybe, maybe not. Lineman Nelson looking for a way out. Lil Bomer not going to be able to get out of that one either. Father Xylophone able to pick up the kill as the crew, they get the beacon. But at what cost? That's 3. Make it eventually 4 members of the crew going down over the beacon. And, I mean, yeah, they pick off Bonehead on the other side as well, but I don't think Bonehead plus a beacon is worth all but Lineman Nelson.
I mean, Bonehead popped the Petrify, and it just completely stunned the crew. No pun intended there, but he got 2 with his ult. It allowed them to turn that fight, and eventually you see them fall 1 by 1. Evo starts off the fight with the ultimate, Bonehead finishes up with his, and you just see Waddle clean things up like you need. And that's exactly what I was saying about that Bastet. Bastet likes to clean things up towards the end of the fight, and Waddle's doing it in spades.
Can't help but agree with you on that one. And notice Father Xylophone, playing off of what his team has been able to do, now has a lead over here in solo lane. And this jungle solo grouping here of Lineman Nelson and Glock 17 Binary, they were supposed to be the one in the 2 in the lead in those roles, considering the picks that they have, but have fallen behind here. The crew going to be very reliant on their mid laner and their ADC from here on in. Deadlight, a quarter of his health just immediately gone with that spin. That's just a quarter of his health, just gone.
Again, ADC builds are extremely varied right now, as we do see Bomer taking a lot of damage. Shield will come out from Geb, it literally gives him half his health back. So very effective in that sense. We'll see the ultimate from the Nuwa hit. Do the damage, Bomber will survive that, but as I was talking about earlier, the ADC builds are extremely varied right now. And when you look at the Medusa's build, everything there is designed to prevent the healing and do damage with her abilities. She's got the cooldown, she's got the Erendite going, she's got the Soul Leader on as well, so she's getting health back from it. She is starting to look extremely dangerous as we see Lineman going in with Chalk here.
Lineman looking for Waddle XP, unable to find more than a third of that health bar, but going in anyway. Good Cataclysm out from Fuego. Gets immune by a couple of members, it looks like. But CM Bambi chasing down Lineman Nelson with that crippling field. Lineman Nelson going to throw the axe over, looking for a way to get back into this main fight. Unable to quite find it. Lineman Nelson going to have to back off. Glock 17 Binary over there with them. And again, that is the tandem, the solo jungle tandem that we were expecting to be able to do a little bit here in this game. Deadlie over in the left lane farming. Kappa Corporation know where Deadlie is and are running right to him. 3 members of Kappa Corporation running at Deadlie. Full tilt. Waddle XP. Unable to see Deadlie anymore, but Lineman Nelson going to find Bonehead. And now the crew, they've got their first kill in this fight, but they're the ones that are low. They're the ones that have got to run, and Lil Bomer not going to be able to get away. Picked off by MP and Bambi. Lineman Nelson should be soon to follow. No health. No mana, nowhere to go. And MC and Bambi just trying to run him down as much as they can. And will be able to pick the kill. Deadlight has to go into the Valkyrie's discretion just to stay alive for a moment longer. The stuns, the CC should be enough. Aegis beautifully used, but the Wukong has too much damage. Deadlight will fall soon after. Waddle XP getting run down by Glock 17 Binary. Good Aegis, but not enough. As Waddle XP, the next to fall here. Glock 17, however, the only remaining crew member on the map. Old Bomer just came back up from the grayscale, and Glock 17 and be able to just barely make their way out.
You know, as I'm watching that mid lane, as we see Fire Giant getting started up here by Kappa Corporation, you know, I'm watching this mid lane, I'm watching this chalk, lineman just trying to get back to his Phoenix. He makes it back to his tier 2, he makes it back to his Phoenix. No, Warriors are perfectly balanced in this game right now. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
I mean, if we're going to talk about warrior balancing, I think we need to talk about Freya, as Fire Giant is going to melt before Lineman Nelson can really get there. Lineman Nelson going to look to clean somebody up if he can. Cataclysm coming out as well. Evelize gets good damage on the entirety of the crew from one spot as per usual. Fuego Maego trying to get away, but is going to be corralled by the Fire Giant belted Kappa Corporation. And the crew, now without their support, have to play defense at least a little bit here. They're gonna try and either push down this tower, get this beacon, or both. And it looks like they're just gonna try and get this beacon for the moment. Raymond Nelson trying to get some damage in, but if you look at these levels, it is not boding well for the crew. As Bomer gets pulled back in, I guess his beads were down, and indeed they were, for another 10 seconds or less. So beautifully timed ultimate out of Waddle. Lineman Nelson with a very interesting teleport. Teleports all the way back behind the Kappa Corporation. I assume is just wasting time. Throws the axe over the walls, able to teleport over. Waddle XP not going to be able to run him down, not with the rain pouring down around him. Lineman Nelson trying to put up the fight, trying to see if he can get away. Good silence. Gives his team time to get there. Freya's there! Freya's got damage! Freya annihilates Waddle XP! Valkyrie's discretion comes out, and this Freya keeps pumping damage! Deadlight putting the fight to them as he Aegis a little late. The beads is there, able to keep staring them down. Bambi gonna find Deadlight, and now the fight turns on its head. Bonehead, the one in charge at this point, finds Fuego for some damage. Xylophone with the kill. Bomer returns from spawn, only to be absolutely destroyed. Xylophone on a rampage in this game would be over. Kappa Corporation, what a finishing fight.
Yeah, we'll see what Lineman can do if he does indeed make it back for this. I don't know if he's going to make it back as the Titan getting shredded. Well, he will make it, but looks like he's going to make it just in time to see his Titan fall.
That is going to be MC and Bambi, incredibly low. Should be a kill if he decides to go for it. Able to find one, but unable to get the reset. And so instead of resetting for game one, we're going to reset for game number 2. Not literally, not yet. We still have a post game to talk about.
Yeah, and that game, I mean, we saw a little bit of what it's able to do, of what these two teams can do. I mean, again, you saw the Freya wanted to snowball, needed to get the items, needed to get stuff to go forward, could not do it. Just was on top of constantly by the Medusa. It's exactly what we were saying at the very beginning. Medusa needs to snowball and needs to continue that snowball. Has to step foot on the gas and not get up, not let off of it. Freya needs to survive till the end. We thought maybe the Geb could help her. Instead, we saw Freya just drop further and further and further behind. Nuwa able to bring out the consistent damage with her ult. Ardio was absolutely disruptive. If I had to switch anything out on Kappa Corporation, the Wukong I think needs to be switched with something else. just to be a little bit more disruptive or effective. I know he went 5-1-7. I know he was a little bit of a thorn in the chalks side, but team fight wise, I think maybe there was something else that if I had to switch something, I think that's what I would switch. Bastet was more effective than I ever thought that Waddle was going to be. So congrats to Waddle on that one for proving me wrong. Um, but just even the Erlong Shen Glock felt it looked like Glock felt a little out of place with that. Um, and to be honest, Bulmer there mid lane at this point, drop wards. That is a rough mid lane when you're going 0 and 10. You do 7,700 damage in battle. That is a rough game for you. Again, and at this point, I think at least for Bomber, here's what I do. The NFL they have this thing called burn the tape. With Balmer, burn the tape. That game didn't happen. It doesn't exist. Put it out of your mind. You know what? You have a bad one. Everybody has a bad one. Let's go into game two. Kick some butt, get that mid lane going, and try and return the favor, so to speak, when it comes to Evo there in the mid lane. Just try to be a little bit more, okay, we're going to dismiss the bad performance. Let's find something comfortable and let's do what we can do in this mid lane.
So I feel like the thoughts after this game are words win wars, and just they didn't get to late. There's no other way to put it. Lil Bomer and Deadlie both scale incredibly well, but when you're not allowed to take advantage of that incredible scaling, you tend to lose. So
Hmm.
I really don't know another way to put that, but we're going to go ahead and pass it to a break as we get ready to showcase game number 2 of these two teams. Keep in mind, Kappa Corporation up 1-0, but can they keep that ball rolling? Hello, everybody, and welcome to what should have been game two of the set between the crew and Kappa Corporation. MechanisCaduceus here with Red Sniper to bring y'all a little bit of news on this set. What y'all saw was not game one, but instead game number two, as the Kappa Corporation actually, with that game, take this set 2-0.
Yeah, so game one again with trying to figure things out and make sure that people are available. Again, default time game. Unfortunately, there had to be an FF by for game number one, but game number two here again, we did get to see these two teams actually play out a game, so fair enough. Um, people have real life schedules, and it's just going to happen from time to time. That being said, however, we did see I don't know. I guess you could say I mean, I don't want to call it a stomp. I don't like to call games stomps, but in that one, y- we'll put it this way: Kappa Corporation did exactly what they needed to do to win, and it just demonstrated it. They knew exactly what their win condition was. They said, "This is what we're going to follow," and they executed it to perfection. So Kappa, at least in that sense, well done. Crew, maybe we need to go to the drawing board. Maybe we need a little bit more practice. We'll see what happens as they go into week number 6 now, at 2 and 3. But again, Kappa Corporation keeping pace right now at 4-1, tied for first place in the Puddles division.
Tied for first place in the Puddles division and looking for that number one seed, our Kappa Corporation. So, with that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. This was MechanisCaduceus here with Red Sniper and Tess on production. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for seeing it. And we're going to see y'all again on Monday.